Hi there everybody, we are back and looking at IE11 support in LocalGov Drupal. We currently follow the Drupal core guidelines on support for browsers, so that means we currently support IE11. If we're going to look at a new teaming system, we've got to figure out how do we support IE11 but also make our team kind of sustainable, and I don't want us to do something that means we're back in the same position this time next year, rewriting a whole new team that now doesn't need support for Drupal 11, when we could potentially do something now that will allow us to support IE11 for just the short term until Drupal drops support for it. So at the moment, we have a change record here from Larry. Drupal core is dropping support for IE11 in Drupal 10, and Drupal 10 is slated to be released in June 2022. So we've got 1 year and 2 months or thereabout that we need to support IE11 for. So I'm not suggesting that we deliberately try to break things in IE11. I'm saying we don't test in IE11. Maybe everything will work. Maybe it won't, but it won't be tested. That's kind of the idea of dropping support. It's not that you actively do things to try to break it. I'm going to have a little look here at this. Now this, again, it's our new team. It's all the code at the moment is kind of up for discussion, so it's ugly and experimental, but it's enough to kind of propose what we might do, or what I think I would like to do. So I've got my LocalGov base team installed here. I've got no, that's actually one of our clients site open. What is it? LocalGov dev.mark.ie. Yeah. Now I have to give away the state secrets here for logins and whatnot. Okay, so this is how it looks currently in IE11. So I'm going to do a couple of things here now, and just to show that you know, it can look good in IE11. I mean, it'll look ugly because this is currently ugly, but let's see that we should be able to make the site look very, very good in IE11 and support that, and make it look even better than in Chrome or Firefox or other modern browsers. So what I've done is Web Teams custom LocalGov base CSS. We've got a layout system here as grid.css. So what I've done is I'm creating, say, a max width of 60 rem. 60 rem is 960 pixels. So I'm saying that this is the max width of the main container. That main container then is this here, where you can see the green box as wide as that green box there. IE11 will read this, so we'll have a 960 pixel container in IE11. Modern browsers then will come to the next part and read this variable here, CSS custom property, and say it should be the same width as whatever the container width variable is set as. So if we look in our base variables file, we can see the container width is set to 60 rem. That means in a modern browser like Firefox or Edge or Chrome or something, the container is going to be 960 pixels, and in IE11 it's going to be 960 pixels. So far the website looks the exact same in IE11 and in modern browsers. If we come down here a bit further down, we can see then with the LGD row for these for the grid system, we got margin right -1 rem, and then for IE11, and then margin right for modern browsers, it's a calculation of whatever our spacing variable is multiplied by -1. And in our variables here, we can see that our spacing variable is 1 rem. So again, this section is going to look the exact same in IE11, and all the way down through this, it's all the exact same. So what might make it different is if, say, we had just let me check here the name of the region for the header. LGD region -- header. Okay, so and I'm putting this into the grid file here, but that's just so we can work a bit quicker. LGD region -- header. So if the header was background color, we'll just go with red, say, for now, and I refresh this, I presume I get a red background. Nope, I don't. LGD - region header. Let's make it a hard refresh. There we go. So that's our background color is red, and then we might say that we also want padding on the header of, we'll say 3 REM on the top and bottom and 0 on the sides. Okay, and in here we've got I think this is primary menu region it's called. Let's see, LGD region -- primary menu. Yeah, so we'll copy this, and let's say that the LGD, I've copied it, haven't I? LGD region primary menu, which that also has padding of 3 REM 0, and this can have a background color of let's go with just blue. Okay, and then and any links that are inside that then will say they have a color of white. Okay, so this looks good. Now we've got two different regions to look at here. We've got some margin on the bottom. I know I shouldn't be bothered about it, but it's actually probably margin on the top of something here, is it? Oh, Mark, don't be worried. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where this white space comes from. I don't think it matters. Right, I know it does. I know it doesn't matter. Okay, so if we look at this in IE11, this should look the exact same in IE11 as it does in Firefox here. So here's IE11. This is in browser stack. So we can see that we got red on the top, we got blue on the bottom, and we got white here. So what we can do is we can set these colors here using variables as well. So if we were to say that the background color of this was going to be var -- we say header BG just for argument's sake, and this one here we can say is going to be menu BG, and we save both of those. Then we can come to our variables file here, and we can say that header BG is red, and this was menu BG. So the header background is red, the menu background is blue. Now, nothing should change here. Okay, that's still red for the header background here. So background color red here has been overridden because modern browser can read background color here and it knows that it's red from down here. If we look at this in IE11 and we refresh our page, we can see nothing has changed. So we still have a red background. So far, so good. And we can see over here that its background color is red, and background color var header BG can't be red. And since that can't be red, CSS is very good, so it'll fall back to where it can read this instead. Now, where this becomes an issue then is on subteaming. I'd like to just continue using CSS custom properties or CSS variables, because that allows us then to create subteams that can extend from the main theme without having to install Sass or again having to use Bootstrap and start redeclaring variables and have to compile the theme every time you want to change a variable value. So just taking this as an approach, actually let's look at the padding here is 3 and 0. So let's say that I'd actually think I'm going to change both of these to padding top 3 REM and padding bottom 3 REM. So just writing the bare amount of CSS that we need rather than extra short versions of CSS. So we'll stick in no, I won't put it in comments, it's okay for now. So what I would do here then is on top of the padding top and padding bottom, then we can have padding actually I can create a new line for that. So this will be padding top will be var -- let's call this something like section spacing vertical. And we'll have the same for padding bottom. Okay, so we're saying that it's not actually based necessarily on the spacing, it's based on a variable that's going to be called section spacing vertical. And then here we can say that dash dash section spacing vertical is equal to we'll say calc var spacing, I think this is times 3. So that again should be equal to 3 REMs. Let's just refresh and see that nothing breaks. Well, it won't break on IE11 because it can't be read. And on Firefox, still looks perfect. So we're still looking at the same. Now all these variables we've got, these could be all variables for fonts and for line heights and for the widths of containers and anything we want, which means then that if we create a sub-team from the main team, we can change these variables so that the site will update and look different per website for the distribution. But what's going to happen is that the fallback will always be used then for IE11. Now this means that, say when it comes to a local council, that it means every local council's website on IE11 that uses this base team as its base will look the same as each other. And we can theme this in a generic manner that the headers would always be black and that the links would always be white and things like that. So it means that you get a consistent look for that. But I've got a feeling that almost the only people using IE11 that are using a council website are the editors within the council themselves or council staff, because they're working whatever machines they have. IE11 might just be their installed browser. Almost every person visiting your website, almost every user of your website that wants to find out about council taxes or wants to find out about bins or wants to find out about whatever schools in the area, they will nearly all be using modern browsers, either on their phones or else on their using Firefox and Chrome and Edge and things on their laptops or computers. So let's just have a look at what a sub-team like this might look like. So we've got LocalGov base here, and I've created another team here called Marquee, and I've said that the base team for Marquee team is LocalGov base. So whatever LocalGov base has, Marquee will automatically have it as well. If I install that team here now, so that is down here. So that's installed, and now I'm going to set it as my default team. And nothing should change here because it should look identical to the LocalGov base team. It does. It looks a little bit better for some reason. I don't know why I'm missing the. I'm not going to worry about that. It's the colors and the variables we're interested in any case. Let's just clear the cache on the off chance that does change something for us. Okay, that looks that's fine. Now, within this team here, what I've done is I've created a library called variables, and that library just has one CSS file which is called variables.css, and inside that we have nothing here at the moment. So what we can do here is we can say that header bg is equal to, let's go with say pink, and we can say dash dash menu bg is going to be actually let's not do anything with menu bg at the moment. So just change this to pink. Now when I refresh this, we should get a pink background. We should get a pink background in the header. Flush the CSS. There we go. Now, so what we can see here is that the default styles from the original team, so the blue background for the menu and the white for the links, are inherited. And all we've done is we've overridden what the header background looks like. And what we can do then as well is we can then change, say we've got a section spacing vertical, and in the base team that's equal to 3 REM. What we can say here, section spacing, vertical equals, let's go with maybe 8 REM just to have an extreme example so we can make sure we can see the changes taking effect. And then we get a much bigger header here. Now, where this becomes very, very powerful is that then each new team, each team that uses LocalGov base as its base team can get a lot of its work done in terms of changing its fonts, its line height, its vertical rhythm, its padding, its spacing between items, background colors. All that can be done by just having a variables.css file. And this variables CSS file then will give you the look and feel that you need for your new site. You might need to create the odd template, but hopefully it'd be very few templates you need to maintain yourself. So creating new teams should be very, very fast for us. But when it comes to IE11, what happens? Well, IE11 can't understand these variables, so it won't see this pink. But what it will do instead is it will read the original colors it had from the original team. And in this case, that's red on here. So it means every time you look at a council website and you're on IE11, you're going to see it looking like this. And that's mostly the staff that are editing the content, not the actual people coming to your website. So if the staff are okay about, hey, I want a good website, I want it to look good, I want it to function well, I want to be able to use it, well, we can support that like this. And we just have to do that for another couple of months, well, for 1 year. After that, we drop support anyway. And when support is dropped, then you're going to have to use modern browsers to edit your website. So what I would suggest would be something like the background color for the heading would probably be something like, is there let's see, a dark black. I think 333 is dark, fairly dark, not exactly black, but it's quite close to it. And the background color for here can be, oops, let's see, maybe the same. Okay, so you get this kind of a look. And well, maybe we should separate the two different colors there. And then you might decide that the padding on the top of this might be maybe 1.5, and the same here, 1.5, and here maybe 1 REM. Actually, I'm going to move these to 2. Okay, so what you end up with then is a nice looking kind of a stock kind of theme. So we could base this maybe on the Gov UK design system. So whatever the background colors for headers are there, and whatever the fonts that get used, or whatever the spacing is used, we could have all that built into this for IE11, and that supports IE11. But when you're on a modern browser, you end up getting this look here. And if there was a, so yeah, so we can, then I guess we can have sub-teams of sub-teams. So we could have another team, let's say, I got one here called ANRT. I'm not sure if this will actually work for us because it's, oh yeah, we got a variables library here as well. And in this variables file, okay, I've set more items here. Let's maybe just remove some of these. I will say that we want menu BG to be, let's go with, so I want to get something, what's a dark color? Start typing colors, Mark. No. Well, no, I don't want to use blue. We'll go with gold just to make sure we have a different color. Actually, brown. How about that? Yeah, that's fairly dark. I do want the dark so that we can see the menu link here. So what this could say then is that the parent of this, the base team for this could be the team called Marky. So one council could use the base team for their team. Another council could come along and change some of the variables because whatever they wanted for their base. Another council could say, I want to use that second council's team, but I want to override just one variable or two variables. And in that case, what we're doing here is we're saying, I want the override menu background color to be brown. So everything else should be the same as the Marky team, except the menu here should be brown, but the size of the spacing should be the same. So now we've got a base team and a sub-team and a sub-team of a sub-team. Presuming it actually works, let's see. And this allows us to have a very scalable teaming system for LocalGov Drupal, and it's a very sustainable system for LocalGov Drupal as well. So let's get the ANRT team here, set this as default. Now I haven't actually subteamed a subteam the Russian doll just yet, so let's see if this actually works. Okay, it does and it doesn't. Kind of does. So we get the brown color here. We were missing the pink up here. Header background is blue. Do you know what? Maybe I don't even need to get into this level of detail on this just yet. Header background pink. Yeah, so actually this variables file is getting completely overridden by this one. I didn't think that was going to happen. Okay, it doesn't particularly matter. It just means there's one step that we either need to solve or we don't go that deep in the nesting. So let's uninstall. How do I uninstall that now? Oh, it's set something else as the base. So I'll set LocalGov base as the base, and then I can uninstall this again. Yeah. Okay. And now we're back to this kind of a look. And then, like I was saying, in our variables files, we can just change what variables equal what. So this one here is 60 rem. We could change this to maybe 1190 pixels. I'm not sure what 60 rem translates to. That is it 72 or something. So this should get wider now. There we go. So one website might decide it wants to be this wide, and then we can have say a variable called font default. And font default for one website could be Arial, and font alternative could be we'll say Times. So you want a sans serif font for most of the places, and then a serif font for maybe headlines, and that could be overridden then in a variables file to say font default on this one here will be maybe Roboto, and font alternative can be, well, we'll go with Comic Sans, because why not? And again, you can see then that this will allow us a very different look and feel per council website by just maintaining one variables.css file, rather than trying to inherit or import the whole of Bootstrap, we'll say, from the LocalGov base team, and then the different variables sections and parcels from the LocalGov base team, and then every time we want to make a change, you got to run all that compilation and push that out again. This is much easier for us to do. What we can also do with this then is we could have team settings somewhere that editors could actually define themselves what the variables will equal, and they will update automatically. So if for whatever reason you decide at Christmas we want to have the body background color to be red, well, we could have a setting here on the team page that says body background color, and have a pop up here. You select red, and then automatically you'll have a red background on your body. And when it comes to maybe say St. Patrick's Day, you might come here and change that team setting to green, and you'll have a green background. And then on any other day, you can just remove that setting or set it back to white or whatever you wanted. And that would allow editors or site administrators have a lot of control over how their site looks, without needing to come to developers for the sites to get for maintenance. And I think this is really, really good way for us to write a theme that is sustainable and is scalable and serves IE11 users in the short term, because it's only for the short term that we need to support them. So that is it. Let's see if there's any questions on Twitch. Oh, Matt Glaman. Hi, Matt. He says, this is the main reason we support IE11. That's the main reason we support it in Drupal. Stakeholder users have it until it's fully dead. Hospitals, government, large offices. And that's exactly my point, but it's internal users. So I don't think internal users should be too worried about how fancy it looks. They should be worried about, is this usable? And as long as they can do their work, get it done, and in a very usable manner with a very nice IE11 theme, the rest of us should be able to continue moving on into systems that allow us to get really good front ends done at a fraction of the time that is taking us to currently maintain them when we have to use IE11 or we're using SAS and things like that. I wonder, I might just hang on for maybe 10 seconds to see if anybody else wants to pop in and ask a question. We've got 2 viewers at the moment. I'm guessing one is Matt, and maybe somebody else wants to agree or disagree or say something. Okay, we'll leave it at that, and I'll upload this video to YouTube straight away, so it should be there in the next maybe 15 minutes or so. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.